still wish there was an option to get rid of this big grey bar at the bottom of the screen, but there isn't. Good news though for the Prime Resurgence, it has finally entered its final week, or it should be literally right now, because Last Chance Part 2 has just gone live, hence the reason the timer is a click button, Awaken the Prime Vanguard. Because last week's didn't quite go as planned for the website, but that's because technically there was Rhino and Nyx Prime that turned up that weren't actually part of this, so let's see how well this works this week by just clicking the button, which is basically nothing more than a refresh button for Last Chance Part 2 of the Prime Resurgence. Vorzai Dax's possible last appearance, until we know what is going on with the whole Prime Resurgence system going forward. So as you could expect, Vauban Prime, Ash Prime, Oberon Prime, Necros Prime, I nearly said Nyx, yes, Valkyria Prime, Saren Prime, Ember Prime, Frost Prime, Rhino Prime and Nyx Prime. There is a total of 5 packs, not just the 4 that was expected, because Rhino and Nyx showing up as kind of a late comer, which means the dual wielding Stiletto Primes, the Fragor Prime, the Vectus Prime. Now that's a pretty good sniper rifle. Not the best, but still pretty good. Carrier Prime, one of the, used to be the most used Sentinel in the game. With the Oberon Prime pack, there is the Silver and Ages Prime, the Cyberus Prime, that is pretty good. The Tigress Prime, arguably the best shotgun in the game. The Galatine Prime with Valkyria and Saren obviously comes 2 of my favourite Prime weapons. Not my most favourite. Sadly, I have to give that to something else. But number 2 and 3, easily. Cernos Prime. Nikana Prime. And I said Haiku, but no. Nikana Prime. Haiku's not even on there. Nikana Prime, Cernos Prime. I love the Cernos Prime. There is obviously the Venka Prime and the Spyra Prime, but this will be your last chance to get a hold of the Nikana Prime or the Cernos Prime, which is kind of a shame. Obviously with Ember and Frost come the Socorus Prime, the Glaive Prime, the Latron Prime and the Reaper Prime. Apparently the Glaive Prime is actually quite a beast. Well, Rhino, let me guess, Boltor, yeah, there it is. There's the Haiku Prime, next. The Sindo Prime, the Ankyros Prime. The Boltor Prime used to be a real beast, but it hasn't really aged that well. And no, I didn't ignore people when they pointed out that even technically the thumbnail last week had Rhino and Nyx in it. But for those who may ask, bounties in Deimos, best place to get a hold of Ayah. To heck with the Void, it's not that good, but let's head over to Maru's Bazaar and see Vorzai Dax for possibly the last time. To yet again find anybody and everybody who is probably online is probably standing here right now. And I will admit, I do like the way they've done this. I don't like the fact that they've got these at the top and then it splits them all up into the rest of them underneath. But it goes literally by pack. Ash Prime, weapons they've brought. More importantly with this, the relics are here, and it's the relics that you kind of want to try and get, because any unvaulted relic, or any vaulted relic, is basically here for the frames that are currently available. And then we have Necros, Oberon, the weapons that come with them. Oh, the Cyberus, and then the relics, the weapons, yeah. The relics, you can actually get them on. Same goes with Valkyria, Saren. Yes, you can buy this using Regal Aya. I'm going to get wrong if I don't mention it, so I've got to kind of mention it. But you can only get Regal Aya using real money, and it's not tradable like Platinum is. And they have said multiple times that when this ends next week, the 25th, Regal Aya will remain on your account for future whatever it's going to be used for. They will address that in the dev stream. I do believe that was the 28th. Not this Friday, the one after. Same as Ayah. Ayah is still used for a lot of things, but I love that thing so much. Yes, I know there is a new amazing bow in the game. I still prefer me a good old Cernos Prime. May not do as much damage, but it's just as much fun to use. And the relics that all come with it, then obviously Ember, Frost, the weapons and the relics for those as well, and under no circumstances ever buy the Orokin Ducats, 5 of them for 1 Ayah, because you can literally pick up 1 relic, do a mission, and get 1 prime pot worth 15 Ducats. So 1 relic is worth 15 Ducats minimum. Not 5. And obviously there is the usual things in here, and because I said it before, I am going to have to say this whole time, the whole Prime Resurgence, there has been this thing sitting there. You can buy it built for 1 Regal Aya, bleh. But the relics for this, it's on a lot of relics in the game. It was never vaulted, it really needs to be. So does the Fang Prime, the Bursten Prime, and the Lex Prime. Ooh, if you had to choose one, what would yours be? Let me know in the comment section below. Because this thing does not do a lot of damage. I have just used it so much, it would be wrong not to put it as number 1. Whereas, that's also high up there. I'd still take a Cernos Prime over that any day of the week. Or a Rubico Prime, but sadly that hasn't turned up this time around. But hopefully this becomes kind of a annual event style thing that happens a lot, because as much as people have loved for the past 8 weeks to, well, 9 weeks to bitch and moan, I agree with the problems with it at the start. There are still a few other problems, but getting Ayah is much easier than getting that 1 relic you want for a prime part, and then you just take that Ayah and you buy the relic you want to farm for the prime part you are after. Plus they can also drop in 2s doing bounties on Deimos. 2 at a time. But for the amount of people who bitch and moan about this and how much it sucks, it's always busy here. Every time I come to see Vorzai, it is packed. So, yes, it had its teething problems. No, it's not perfect. But they can fix it. For hopefully when Vorzai Dax returns with whatever they turn the Prime Resurgence into going forward. Remembering, once it ends on the 25th, we'll have to wait until then to see what happens with it. It may just continue and the Prime Unvaulting may be related to it. Instead of Prime Unvaulting, we may have Vorzai Dax just bringing 1 Prime Unvaulting at a time. Sadly, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But with that, we'll leave this off here. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.